Death, the most powerful of the 7 endless siblings. Death surprises many by being upbeat and empathetic, 2 qualities that seem counterintuitive for a creature ruling over so grim a thing as death itself. Death acts as a shepherd, preparing the living for the next step in their journey, and will be the last entity remaining at the end of the universe. Because death is almost everywhere, death is borderline omnipresent. Further, she is the only member of the Endless who is not bound by extensive rules governing her power. Surviving things that no other Endless could and ending life wherever she must without any restriction, it's easy to recognize Death as the strongest comic character of all time. Before we continue, please take 5 seconds to support our YouTube channel. This will mean a lot to us, so like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. It will help us reach our goals. Delirium is the embodiment of the manic pixie dream girl trope, an unbalanced, hyperactive child who is treated as such by everyone around her. Delirium was formerly Delight until a mysterious event triggered her transformation. Delirium's wild imagination can make virtually anything come true, which makes her far more powerful than almost any other being in the Sandman and would let her stand toe-to-toe with some of Marvel's strongest characters. Fortunately, she uses her powers mostly for good, being whimsical despite her chaotic nature. Delirium is quite wise, albeit in the disjointed way of most prophets, but unfortunately, she lacks the organizational skills to make the most of her powers. Destiny is a contradictory figure. The eldest of the Endless, Destiny can see the past, present, and future equally, giving him perfect knowledge of all events in the universe. His omniscience is an extraordinary gift, but Destiny has a weakness that prevents him from being the absolute strongest being around. Chained to his book of fate, Destiny watches events transpire throughout the universe but does basically nothing to intervene. His book contains the story of every creature in existence, so in theory, Destiny possesses knowledge that could bring about the destruction of anything and anyone he wanted. In practice, Destiny's main power is more reserved, and if he has other powers, he isn't one to show them off. The presence is the closest thing that the Sandman and the DC universe have to an all-powerful monotheistic god. Omniscient, omnipotent, and without any equal, there are essentially no material restrictions on the presence's power. The creator of both Michael Demiurgeos and Lucifer Morningstar, the presence is without question the strongest being in the Sandman, dwarfing even the Endless. The presence can do whatever he wants, which is something that no other character in the comics can say. Indeed, whatever he wants is important, because the presence has a strict moral code from which he never deviates. This code is the only thing stopping him from erasing all existence and then recreating it whenever he gets bored. Desire's power sounds simple but encompasses more than many would guess. This Endless is the embodiment of yearning and craving for something. Sometimes it's a person that's desired, other times it's fame, money, power, or something more abstract. Desire's power affects every conscious being, influences every area of their life, and can easily be used to manipulate people. Despair can start wars and other conflicts on a whim, pitting families and entire nations against one another. Unlike some of this Endless's other siblings, Desire is actually inclined to do so, using their power in whatever selfish way they want, which is part of what makes them so powerful and dangerous. Despair, the twin sister of Desire. Despair is a heavy-set woman who wears a ring with a hook on it, using that ring to cut into her own flesh. Despair is depression incarnate, feeding upon the suffering of others. The more desperate others become, the strongest despair is, and with misery increasing over the centuries, her power has grown considerably, making her one of the stronger Endless siblings. Her only major weakness is that having a backstory as sad as those of some Attack on Titan characters, it's hard for her to find the motivation to do anything with her power in the first place. Like her brother Destiny, she possesses astronomical power but largely refuses to wield it. Unlike her brother, when she does choose to display her strength, there's little stopping her. Destruction, tall, burly, loud, and red-headed, Destruction doesn't much resemble his gloomier siblings. His name is misleading because his personality doesn't match. He has the power to destroy anything, but he is one of the most peaceful of the Endless, lacking any desire to eradicate life. As humanity's capacity for destruction grows, so too does the power of this Endless, but when it reaches its zenith with the development of the atomic bomb, Destruction abandons his duties, wandering the earth in search of beauty rather than cultivating his power further. Whereas Destiny's power is restrained by unknowable cosmic forces and Despair's power is restrained by her own sadness, the only thing really holding destruction back is his peaceful nature, which is fortunate for everyone. Michael Demiurgios. During Lucifer Morningstar's rebellion against heaven in the Sandman, it was Michael Demiurgios who led God's forces against his brother in battle. Michael's power equals and arguably exceeds that of his brother, easily making him one of the strongest characters in the Sandman. Gifted the power of God's divine will, Michael's death would wipe all creation from existence, leaving nothing behind, not to mention break the DCEU. Omniscient, omnipresent, and possessing a list of powers that reads like every superhero's ability wish list, Michael Demiurgios can more or less do whatever he wants. The primary check on his power is his brother Lucifer, since the goals of the two siblings often stand in direct opposition to one another, preventing either from entirely getting their way despite their overwhelming strength. Dream as Lord of the Dreaming. Dream, aka Morpheus, commands a realm all his own yet also possesses a power that touches on those of all of his siblings. Dream is without question one of the strongest characters in the Sandman universe thanks to his powerful and varied abilities and also because he is more than willing to act on his power. Dream is so powerful that he is even willing to venture into hell itself to confront Lucifer Morningstar when the need arises. His confidence in confronting even the most powerful entities in existence says a great deal about his strength. Fortunately, Dream is not evil, though he is flawed and tremendously complicated, so the power of the dreaming rarely becomes the power of pure nightmare. Lucifer Morningstar. Though they are incredibly powerful, the Endless are far from the only strong characters to inhabit the Sandman universe. In these comics, hell is very much real, and ruling over it is an entity even stronger than Death and her siblings, Lucifer Morningstar. Whereas most fallen angels lose their strength, Lucifer retained his, and calling it impressive would be a radical understatement. Lucifer can manipulate any external force to bring about any effect he desires. His only real limitation is that he cannot create something out of anything without the help of his brother Michael. With the help of his brother, Lucifer can create anything he wants, including new universes, if he so chooses. John Constantine. If swearing and smoking were Olympic sports, John Constantine would have multiple gold medals. While he might be cynical and sarcastic at the best of times, that never gets in the way of his ability to solve occult mysteries. He uses his magical powers and know-how of the occult to help others, something he doesn't freely admit to. Constantine is well versed in the art of magic, even the darker side. He's able to conjure spells, speak to demons, and even teleport across dimensions. After developing lung cancer, he figures out a way to cure himself by tricking the forces of hell into a standoff over his soul. Rather than bicker about who owns Constantine and affect the balance of power in hell, they decide to cure him. Best part? He flips them off after he's recovered. Mazikeen, Lucifer's right-hand demon and lover. She is extremely loyal to Mr. Morningstar and follows him wherever he goes. Whatever Lucifer wants, really. As the leader of the Lilim, she also loves nothing more than a good fight and spilling blood. As a demon, Mazikeen possesses immortality, as well as super-duper strength, hyper-speed, and excellent reflexes. Later on in the comic book series, she also receives Lucifer's powers. When Lucifer bestows his powers on Mazikeen, she doesn't take too kindly to it. She believes he's trying to escape responsibility, so she scars his face with a sword and lives to tell the tale. Rose Walker is a bright young woman who only wants to find her little brother, Jed. Unbeknownst to her at first, she is also a deadly creation known as the Dream Vortex orchestrated by Desire. As the Dream Vortex, Rose holds the ability to destroy the dreaming. Naturally, this makes her Morpheus' enemy, even if she never intends to be against him. Rose has the ability to enter the dreams of others and even combine them into a singular dream. When she first discovers her powers, she also ages at a slower rate than regular humans. A sleeping Rose nearly pulls the dreaming apart, with even Dream struggling to contain her. In the end, though, her grandmother, Unity Kincaid, sacrifices herself to the Dream King to save Rose. The Corinthian isn't one of the Endless but rather one of Dream's scariest creations. He is a personified nightmare among nightmares, intended to be the embodiment of the human fear of the dark. However, the Corinthian was a flawed creation that escaped the dreaming and caused all kinds of horror on Earth, killing, destroying, and worse. He kills so much that he develops the ability to infect the people around him with an insatiable urge to kill. The series even suggests that today's serial killers exist due to the toxic influence of the Corinthian. Luckily, he was caught and repaired by Dream later.